everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and today you're viewing Harvest News from Fintech Garden. I'm CEO of DashDevs, and with me today, my co-host Dumitru Condrea. Hello, Dima.
Hello, Dumitru Condrea, co-founder for Fintech Garden, as you already know, founder for Novafin. So if you need any kind of services from DashDevs or Novafin, just ping us. Anyways, today I have a very nice background, and this background will stay for several of our episodes. And with this yellow nice background, we are coming with some lemon news for today, because a lot of news that we will discuss today is about changes, reshaping, and regulatory.
The first news which caught my eye, it was the joint bid from Stripe and IDN to acquire PayPal for astonishing $53 billion. A lot of experts are actually saying that it's not going through in this case, but for me, it feels really interesting because Stripe and IDN, they're classical acquirers. They provide in terminals, they provide an ability for e-commerce to acquire the money and facilitate the payments, in which I think PayPal feels a little bit different coming from another decade, because even the founding years for Stripe is 10 or almost 15 years later after the PayPal. And PayPal infrastructure, in my opinion, heavily United States driven. And this bid shows that somehow competitors, IDN and Stripe, they join in the forces to acquire another competitor, which is in different league, but still there is an appetite. And what do you think, what is driving this bid? Because a lot of experts saying that most likely it will fail, but there are some reasons why the companies are doing that.
Well, first of all, Stripe, I think, achieved the biggest dream they had at the beginning of their journey years and years ago. If you all remember, Stripe appeared when PayPal was like the most important payment company in North America, not only. And today, Stripe are giving an offer to purchase PayPal. And in the same time, they say like, listen, I mean, from my humble opinion, expressing the idea, listen, I don't think it's worth to purchase PayPal. We Stripe to purchase PayPal. So maybe we can join forces with someone. It's humiliating what Stripe did with PayPal. They didn't make an offer by themselves. They just, showed like, hey, say we want to share the risks. It's not worth it. But together with another company, we can do this. It was visible and it was logical that such an offer will appear sooner or later. From one side, congratulations to Stripe for having the forces to do this and having the courage to do this. They did a huge job. They passed from the moment they initiate their business till today. It's an absolutely great example of how things can be done. They were the pioneers of a lot of interesting approaches in payments, in acquiring, and PayPal is just one of the things that they have to close, so they will be able to move further. Also think there is low chances that such an acquisition will happen, at least in current format and in current offer, but we have been seeing the last days of PayPal as an independent company, and in a year or two or three, there will be quite a big acquisition, and maybe even merging.
For our listeners, recently PayPal restructured their business into 3 business units for checkout, consumer, and financial services, including Venmo. And I would say one angle which can be approached for this news is basically that Stripe is looking to extend their digital assets portfolio with the Pi USD, because we know that in Venmo there is an ability to send the stable coin, and it kind of fits into the portfolio of the Stripe. So maybe it's not looking back into the history, maybe it's vice versa, looking into the future and how to make stronger position in changing world of the stable coins when fiat is no longer a dominating force.
If to speak about the future, let's move a little bit to United Kingdom, because exists a series of activities and series of facts that are happening on the United Kingdom market that shows that the Brits, they want to get maybe a better sovereignty for their banking system, or they want to get rid from the American companies who are inserted in so-called critical infrastructure. Bank of England and other UK regulators already define what means a critical infrastructure in banking system specifically. Possibly. This is why Mastercard would like to sell its UK subsidiary called Vocalink. Well, Vocalink is not a banking platform itself. It's a platform and a company, for those who don't know and never met this product. It's the company that operates and processes more than 90% of all the United Kingdom salaries, or salaries in the United Kingdom. So specifically, it designs, builds, and operates bank account-based payment system in Britain, processing over 90% of the salaries, more than 70% of households' bills, and 98% of state benefits, according to their website. It's not like it's the most critical infrastructure. And somehow Mastercard, having such a big asset in their portfolio, they would like to sell it. seems like the Brits and the majority of banks unofficially mentioned the fact that they don't like to work with a company that basically the ownership are in the United States, and they would like to avoid to work with such company. They would prefer to work with, in the worst case, the European-based company, but of course, preferably to work with companies from the United Kingdom. Igor, do you think there is some kind of specific agreement between them in the market itself, or maybe the Brits they scared that Americans can take over control everything they have in financial system, or is it just classical rebalancing of the market?
Vocalink by nature is consortium because it has been initiated with the banks and Mastercard. And I agree with you that it seems to be the logical step for the sovereignty of the payment infrastructure, because basically Vocalink settles cross-banking transfers between as a clearing house, you might say. And in this case, it's definitely the thing that you're saying. That's a time when a lot of news which are circulating right now, they're around sovereignty, ability to be over control own systems and own infrastructure. And I think that jumps us into the third news. So UK regulators begin direct oversight of 4 major cloud providers, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft, and Oracle, because they have become the first designated critical third parties to UK financial sector, placing their systematically important services under joint Bank of England, PRA and FCA supervision. It overlaps with the DORA. We discussed this, I think, in the previous news, and that makes overview for the stability of the system, because I think the same with Vocalink. Everyone is super cautious and they want to have guarantees and overview how the financial services are controlled within the governments or under the specific jurisdiction, because having the control outside of the country put in a lot of risks. And having the critical infrastructure as cloud vendors, and especially with the growing needs for AI, which sometimes is also running on the cloud infrastructure, that's a big sign that we will have news like that popping up here and there.
Critical third parties that were designated by DORA and other UK regulators basically have to work now together. So all of these 4, Google Cloud, Oracle, Amazon, and Microsoft, will have to sit together, and they already announced that they will do this. They will sit together, specifically in the United Kingdom, and work together with all the regulators from another side and build a partnership and a cooperation where they will prepare not only a roadmap, but also specific actions that needs to be implemented for providing sustainability and non-disruption activity in different emergency case, and not only. Well, these ideas and these discussions are not present only in the United Kingdom, they are present also in European Union, some of European Union countries. Everyone got interested in such activities and such partnership after the disruptions that happened this spring in MENA region, and now they want to be prepared for such kind of situations also here in European Union and on European continent. I honestly think it's a good example how big companies together with regulators can work side by side in building something stronger and something, build at least a disruption strategy and having clear understanding what each of them they have to do in case of different emergencies, maybe even in case of war or in case of lack of electricity or internet connections or wherever. It's very good to have such kind of a thing, mostly because for almost 5 years there is a war in Europe, in Ukraine. And by the way, they also can take a look how Ukrainians managed to do with that banking system and to work with critical party infrastructure, because they also have, every country in the world, they have critical third party infrastructures and vendors who are working for banking system and providing resilience for banking system. So it's a good example. I think we'll see how French, Germans, and other countries in European Union or European continent will do the same, like United Kingdom is doing. It's just the times are hard now, and everybody has to join forces and to build something together, not just to compete on the market, only running for making more money. Absolutely great news. And again, coming back to the second news we had, it's a signal that something is happening in the UK market. It seems like the United Kingdom is moving toward a better and a bigger sovereignty under their financial and payment systems.
So thank you so much for being with us today, listening the news over the hot summer. And we're looking forward to see you the next week for the next discussions. And please take a look on our podcast interviews. There is definitely a lot of interesting materials. So please stay tuned, comment, and follow us on the social networks.